little over 5 years ago, Genesis came on the scene. They brought us the G80, and a lot of people loved it, and sales were there. So then they came in with the G90, then the G70, then they moved into SUVs, where we have a GV80 and a GV70, and soon we will see the G60. So we're starting to see a lot of expansion to this product line. Most of these vehicles are built in Korea, but one of the things that's great about them is you're getting a lot of value. And they've taken a huge chunk out of not just the German market, but also off of Lexus, Cadillac, and other brands because they offer so much for the price. So today we're gonna go through the 2022 Genesis G80 Sport. Now there's a lot of improvements for this year, and we're gonna go through them all, and in the end we'll give you some pros and cons. The Genesis G80 Sport has some improvements for 2022. This is athletic elegance. That's what Genesis likes to call their vehicles. So we'll start from the front and show you some of the changes. Some are slight, some are certainly much more improved. You'll start off by seeing that the design to the front end is a little bit different. So instead of there being the chrome grille and the driving lights, that's gone. There is now a new extension piece here that's body color, and it gives it more of a connected design. Very minor, but it does change the front end. And as you move your way back, you'll notice that this vehicle starts on 19-inch rims if you're using the smaller engine, and we are going to go through the engine and what's under the hood because it's important to note there are different engines. You can get it rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. In this case, we're driving the V6 because it's a sport and it comes all-wheel drive. That's standard on all of the G80 Sports. So 19-inch on the smaller motor, 20-inch on the G80 Sport, but there are two packages. Now this wheel is a 20-inch wheel on all seasons. You can also get it on summer tires. If this rim looks familiar to you, it should. It's the same rim that's being used on the GV70. I did note that the calipers are huge on this vehicle because you have Go Power, you also need Whoa Power, but one of the things, I wish it was red or yellow or stood out just a little bit more, but maybe that's part of that athletic elegance. You can put that in the comments below. Now, one of the things Genesis has always carried throughout their lineup is these two stripes. They match the headlights, and when you hit the unlock, you can see it. That's the same thing. It runs also back toward the taillights. Going further back, you have a panoramic roof, which is standard, and you have window netting here to keep the sun out, and it's power on the rear. We'll talk about that when we get around to the back. But the lines in this vehicle look pretty similar. There are some changes in the rear. Coming around to the back, you'll find this little flip up on the deck lid, and that's part of the sportier look. You'll also find that there is dual exhaust looking exhaust pipes, but they are shaped like the Genesis logo, just trying to carry that design technique all the way through. G80 logo here, Genesis across the back, all-wheel drive, which all these vehicles are, and that 3.5-liter turbocharged engine, which we're going to show you right now. Under the hood of all of the Genesis Sports is a 3.5-liter V6 engine with 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. This is standard. Vehicle gets a combined fuel economy of 20 miles to the gallon. Just so you know, the base engine, which is where you would start, is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine with 300 horsepower. The full lineup is backed by an 8-speed automatic transmission. There are different drive modes. You do get the Sport Plus when you get the G80 Sport, which you do not get on the other trim. 0 to 60, 4.7 seconds, so they say. Nice, good shift points, top of the torque peak. And that is 70 miles an hour. That moves really fast. And I have to say, that's really important when you're talking about the competition. Fastest in the group is going to be a BMW 5 Series. The E-Class is the same at 4.7. And these are important factors if you want performance, which is why you buy a Sport. It does have really good response, even in the mid-range. So if you're doing 40 miles an hour and you put your foot in it, boom, instant response. Remember, this is all-wheel drive, so there's going to be no spinning of the wheels, which is kind of the fun with a rear-wheel drive platform. So the 2.5 liter is going to be rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is optional. It's about $1,200. And if you live in the upper half of the country, you probably want that all-wheel drive. Now, some of the things to think about, first off, from a performance standpoint, it gets about 20 miles to the gallon, which is a little bit less than that of the competition. But if you're in it for performance, you really don't care about those 1 or 2 or 3 miles to the gallon. But as far as this vehicle, one of the things I really like about it is its handling. That when you go around the corners, you get that 2 degrees of rear wheel steer. Now that's available only in the Prestige package with the Sport. So you will not get that on the basic trim levels. Multi-link suspension, both front and rear, make a huge difference in the improvement of the handling on this vehicle over the previous generation. Now, there is an improvement of 4% in the front for handling and 12% in the rear. This gives you better traction, giving you more tire stickiness on the ground, which means better handling overall, and that's one of the big improvements for the 2022 G80 Sport. Let's move this down to a different drive mode, because you're not going to drive it in Sport most of the time. You're going to drive it in a comfort mode, and that's where there's an interesting mix of both handling and safety. So there are cameras around this vehicle, and there's tons of computers, of course, and when it sees a pothole, it will soften the suspension to try and absorb it. You're seeing this a lot in some of the premium vehicles. So as I drive this in comfort mode, you can just feel how nice and comfortable the ride it is. They've done a nice job, and this is partly why they're taking a big chunk out of the German market. Going around corners in this vehicle is really easy, as well as getting into those tight parking spots, because of that rear wheel steer. And this is something that's been around for a long time. This isn't something brand new, and a lot of the other vehicles that are on the market do have it. But what this does have is really good stickiness to the roadway. We are using all-season tires. The summer tires are an option. If you live in the lower half of the country, you'd be fine using those year-round. It's important to note that there's a difference in price by like $100 if you want the summer tires over the all-season tires. Nothing critical, it depends your lifestyle and where you live. As far as the ride quality, I think they've done a great job improving it. They have different size tires, both front and rear, and they're 20-inch tires. On our package, you can also get 19s if you don't step up to that prestige pack. Seating comfort on this vehicle is excellent. They've done a really nice job improving everything. I just wish that there was massaging seats for the passenger side for those long family road trips, or if you're just going out to cruise, why not be comfortable? As far as visibility, out the front is a huge piece of glass. The rear has a good sized piece of glass as well, but that around view camera really makes a huge difference. And that's one of the things, I think they've done a great job with this vehicle. I do like this car. I think they've done a nice job putting it together. A lot of nice features that you would have to pay so much more for in the German cars. And I've done that. You start buying a German car, you start getting all those line items, and it gets really expensive. So one of the things that's really nice is that this is all included in a package. Now, we'll cover the cargo area as well as some pros and cons, so you want to stay with us. Our team of top automotive journalists have also reviewed this car as well as the competition. You can check that out on our channel, carcoachreports.com, and the content's in English and Spanish. Don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell for notifications, because you don't want to miss some of the very cool reviews we have coming out. Walking up to the G80 Sport, open the doors, you'll see this beautiful Seville red interior with the chevron package that is on the interior. Absolutely spectacular leather. 16-way seats for the driver's side. Passenger side does not have the massaging seats. Getting into the vehicle, your first experience is the fact that the vehicle itself lights right up to invite you. Start it up right here. The first thing you're going to know is these 3D gauges that are right in front of you. So what happens with these 3D gauges is a lot of people don't like them. You can convert that to a 2D gauge so you don't see that three-dimensional kind of look that almost you can see my hand. You can see that mirrored effect. The turn signals turn the gauges into cameras so you can see what's going on. I think that's great. It's one of the top safety features in the Hyundai, the Kia, and the Genesis lineup that I love and is standard. Now, you will notice in the camera, but you can't see it with your naked eye, these two red dots, they track your vision. So if you're looking away, you'll get a notification that, hey, you're not paying attention to the road. So you will not see that on a lot of vehicles, but you will see it with a camera, which I find very interesting. Those little red dots, they're keeping an eye on you. I do love the red stitching that's on this leather. It is Napa grade leather, and the steering wheel is nice. I wish it was flat bottom, not necessary, but if you're gonna call it a sport, you need a flat bottom steering wheel. Can they have these paddle shifters? And what you're seeing here on the left and right side is the volume and your cruise control, your adjustment for some of your safety features. There's your upshift right here. And of course your levers with the beautiful knurling. They did a really nice job as far as details and textures and what you feel. I think that's really important. And the same thing is there on the left for your headlights. Now, something that is different that you will see that you don't see in a lot of vehicles is this is carbon fiber, really neat. And the fact that they put all this soft touch controls, and then further down, my favorite button to shut off, the auto stop start. Like I said, saves you about a tablespoon of fuel. You've got your Lexicon audio system here, metal grates, and storage in the doors. Love the combination of the red and the black, the real soft textures and more carbon fiber here. Same thing is true across this vehicle. Going to the center, you've got a 14.6-inch center screen that is about technology. There's a dial down below that you can use to change what you're looking at, or you can touch the screen and use what you would like to. It's up to you. I think it's a little bit far of a reach. I'm not the longest in the arms, but I do love the soft material, and I'm fearing that over time people resting their hand here in order to touch the buttons might wear this out, maybe on a used vehicle 10 years down the road. But as far as a new vehicle, I wish it was just a little closer. Like if they had it like right there, like that 6 inches would have made a huge difference. Maybe that'll happen in the future. They're listening to your feedback. Love the red stitching all the way down, more carbon fiber, and the horizontal dash lines of the vent. That's all ventilation. That's really, really smart. Well done. When you're looking at what's available to you, you've got your map, really nice. You can use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It is wired. It is not wireless. That's important to note. You can also go over to the navigation menu, your satellite radio, and you can listen to whatever you want. Also, you can change this screen over here to have different things. You can either use the dial and change that by saying I want different information, or you can have it as a full screen. It's your choice. In addition, back to that home screen, you've got your media. Oh, you can move all this stuff around. It can be very frustrating. You also have connected services, which are standard, your phone projection, going to the next set of screens, voice memo, set up valet, so you don't have someone take this vehicle and see what it can do. You have your seat settings here as well, which allow for the driver and passenger side adjustments. At that back button, you've got your quiet mode if you want quiet. Your climate control is here. Again, this is really nice. Or you can use the buttons that are down below. Everybody has a different way of doing it. There's no right or wrong. Notifications here in the manual. The one thing I don't see, which I kind of always chuckle about, is the sounds of nature. I think they may have pulled it on this model, and I hope they did because I find it to be a waste. If you love it, put it in the comments down below. Now going further down, you will see that there are actual buttons to get to these spots as well. Your map, your navigation, radio, media, your favorites, whatever that favorite might be, and then of course your setups are here. In addition, you have your climate control here, which includes your heated and ventilated seats and your 2-stage heated steering wheel. I'm going to put that on because it's like 30 degrees outside. And then of course your heated seats are 3-stage as well. Very nice. In front of you, you have connectivity here for USB ports, and then you have your wireless charging here if you choose to use that. Further down along this beautiful pattern, I love this pattern. If you don't buy the G80 Sport, you'll get this aluminum trim across everything, which I think is really nice. On this side, you flip this up, you've got 2 cup holders right there, and that's that dial we discussed, and your ability to get to the volume, the tuning, your home, all that's right here. Auto hold, which has become very popular. So when you're sitting at a traffic light, your vehicle doesn't roll forward. Well, this will change. As you can see, the blue, it changes different colors based on whatever you have it set at. And that's really nice. Nice crystal dial. Again, matches along really nicely with this design as well. Behind the cup holders, you've got your drive modes. Your drive modes are comfort, sport, sport plus only with the G80 Sport. Otherwise, you would not get that on a regular G80, and you could also customize it. And that is also available within the drive modes of your center screen. Now, if you are going to use the custom drive mode, you can adjust a lot of different things. This is your powertrain for sport, where you can set it up however you want. You can go back and change your steering, your suspension, and your all-wheel drive, all in different ways. Your drive mode alerts can be here, and then your brakes, which I would think you'd want them in sport, but that's me. And then you also have the coasting setup if you'd like that or not. It decouples the transmission from the engine while coasting for better fuel economy in the Eco Drive mode. Next to the drive mode button is your around view camera. And I love this around view camera. It is crystal clear outside. It is nice and crisp. You'll see that this around view camera is really, really helpful. Also, when you move the steering wheel, it moves with it. So you've got those lines. That's true on all the competitors as well. The button to the right of the camera is your park assist. You can shut that off if you're going through a car wash. Press the button in front And the glove door box opens, and you've got another charger inside, as well as a tray, which is removable. Your glove box is right in front of the passenger side, and this jumbo-sized owner's manual. There's another one in the trunk, which I just chuckle when I see how big these things are, and it is good-sized. The center console above you has the ability to put that rear shade up and down. You also have the ability to open and close that sunroof. The back seat also carries that chevron pattern and that beautiful Napa leather, but there are some nice surprises in the second row. Heading into the second row, there is a ton of room, and this is extremely luxurious, and I do love the soft closed doors on all four corners. Well done. Manual window nets. If you want some privacy, you have a child back here, whatever that might be. In front of you, you've got some storage, and you've got your climate control. But what this has as a nice little surprise is you pull this down, this center armrest, and you have additional storage right there, as well as charging ports. More of that beautiful red leather. But in addition, you have the ability to put up that screen behind you, and you have heated seats. 3-stage heated seats for the second row. Very nice. And cup holders. So they really thought about that. And then that pass-through, which we'll cover when we get to the trunk. One other thing that comes with the G80 Sport is these beautiful aluminum pedals. Coming around to the back, you have 13.1 cubic feet of storage, which is pretty close to that of the competitors. The rear seats do not fold down, but there is a pass-through for long items, which is good if you're going skiing. Also important to note on this really nice finished trunk area that there is a spare tire, which I do appreciate because not all the German vehicles and some of the competitors offer a spare tire. And if you ever get stuck on the side of the road, you'll be glad to have it. So when you're talking about the price of the G80, it starts at $47,000. You go into the G80 Sport, that brings you up to $67,000. Standard all-wheel drive. Buy that Prestige package, which gives you the extra safety, the rear wheel steer, the 20-inch tires, the nice headliner, the head-up display, and a lot of other goodies. This vehicle came in at $71,000. Now, it is a beautiful car and has a lot to offer. The warranty is something that really makes people consider a Genesis over some of its competitors, which include Lexus, Infiniti, and Cadillac. And that is the fact that it includes 3 or 36,000-mile complimentary maintenance, as well as valet and all the extra services. In addition, you have a 5-year, 60,000-mile all-vehicle warranty, and you have a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and that's huge. Now, also when you check the insurance rates of the Genesis G80 Sport versus the Germans, you're gonna find that this vehicle has really good rates. And that's why a lot of people are saying, you know what? This vehicle might just fit my bill. Now, Genesis has come a long way. They've got all kinds of new vehicles coming out, as well as the GV60, which we'll be reviewing as a first drive, which I'm really excited about very soon, because there's a lot of great new things coming from Genesis. Now, the pros and the cons. The pros, excellent performance, great value, wonderful technology, comfortable seats, although I wish the passenger seat had the same thing as the driver's seats. A lot of the competitors do have that, but it's also important to note that some of the negatives. Safety should be standard when you're buying a $71,000 car or even a $67,000 car. The competition has done that. Now, when you compare this vehicle and build it up equally in the German brand, you're going to be closer to $100,000, which makes the G80 Sport a great value. There's a lot of competition in this category, and Genesis is definitely taking a piece of the German pie, and they're well aware of it, and they're watching, and they're starting to offer more because they're going to be competing with this vehicle and more vehicles coming out on the Genesis lineup. Now, I didn't cover every single little detail on this vehicle, and I'm sure you have questions. Put them in the comments below. I will answer your questions. Also, you can follow me on social media. If you got value from this video, make sure to subscribe and like for more videos like this one. Share it with your friends. We do like opening up that conversation so that everyone learns something. Did you buy a G80 Sport? If you didn't, what did you buy? And if you bought it and you love it, tell us, or you got an issue. We'd still love to hear it, because that's how people learn, so they can make good buying choices and have car smarts. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out our podcast, Total Car Score, and our website, Car Coach Report, social media @LaurenFix, and we'll see you next time.